Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I cannot believe that it has been almost an entire year since I have sat down and packed my hospital bag. That just doesn't seem right. As you guys know, if you watch me regularly, I'm coming up on a year of parenthood to my little baby boy, and it has truly been a whirlwind of a year. I can't even believe that we're in the holiday season, and this is kind of like our first holiday season with him. He was born on December 17th last year, so he was brand spanking new for Christmas, and we really didn't do much for the Christmas season. So this is our very first year doing fun holiday things with him. We've been planning his first birthday. It's just really crazy to look back and reflect on this past year. And also, I'm just feeling super duper nostalgic this time of year because this time last year I was pregnant. There was a lot going on. We were preparing for his arrival and we didn't really know when he was going to show up at this point. It just it's bringing back all the nostalgia of just being in this time again. So with all of that being said, today I wanted to sit down and I wanted to watch the video that I put out at this time last year, which was packing my hospital bag and baby's bag and going over postpartum essentials that I had purchased. The theme at the time was doing that on a budget because at the time everyone and their mother was packing these very elaborate hospital bags on TikTok, and I definitely felt the pressure to pack way more than I actually ended up packing. It just came down to not really having the money to get all of these fancy things that people were buying on the internet and pushing out to me as influencers. And I'm really glad that I stuck to my guns and did more of a minimalist, on a budget packing job. And that's because I actually ended up having a very different birthing experience than I was actually anticipating, and my hospital stay was a lot different than I was thinking it was going to be. And so I have not watched this video in a year. I am very curious to look back and see what I ended up not using and what I did use, and telling you guys what I recommend. Of course, if you're watching this and you're pregnant and you're looking for advice as to what to pack, great. But if you are watching this and you're like, I need X, Y, and Z, and she didn't pack that, please do not just listen to me, please. Do your research, pack what you want in your hospital bag. It comes down to what's comfortable for you. And I just did it very minimalistically, and I'm glad I did. But it's going to be different for absolutely everybody. So yeah, I just wanted to sit down and review this more for me, honestly, just to see and reflect on the experience. I will get more into the experience as we go through this, but for right now I'm just going to play this. I'm going to react to it. I'm going to put it up here so that you guys can see exactly what I'm watching, and I hope you guys enjoy taking a trip down memory lane with me.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to
Same hairdo.
I can't believe we're here. I can't believe I'm sitting down to film the final video ever on this channel before having a baby, because I've been on YouTube for so long. I am full-term pregnant. I am 37 weeks and 4 days pregnant, and at my appointment last week I was told that I'm actually already starting to progress. So we are on official baby watch here, and I needed to get this video filmed.
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but I just want to note that at this point in the video I had less than 2 weeks before I gave birth, because I actually had him at 39 weeks and 1 day. So here I was 37 weeks and 4 days. So yeah, less than 2 weeks away from baby at this point of filming. So I'm glad I packed my bag. I am going to skip ahead a little bit, like I just said, because, oh, Kaylee did not do timestamps on this. Come on, come on. I know I do some rambling at the beginning, and so I wanted to just kind of skip ahead to the actual stuff. So here we go. We'll see if this is a good spot.
Bag, and then I will move on to the postpartum essentials, or items even. Might not be essentials to you, but they are to me. There's timestamps down below if you're interested in one part over the other.
There's not.
But we're just going to get right into it right now.
Timestamps.
With my bag.
Okay,
so first thing that I didn't purchase
and there's not any.
New was a bag. I'm using a bag that I already own. This is an LL Bean canvas. I guess it's more of a tote. I wouldn't call this a duffel. It's a tote. I got it for a wedding gift. It has our name on it. It says Lambert on there. And it was the perfect size. It's very lightweight. We use it all the time for everything.
That bag worked out great. It was the perfect size. If you guys can hear that, that's my child. He's upstairs talking in his crib and he's supposed to be asleep. Okay, it's been 20 minutes Teddy's back asleep. So we're gonna just pick up where we left off. I was talking about my bag and how it was a good size, and I'm pretty happy with what I went with because I ended up just having it shoved in a corner and I barely touched it. Spoiler alert, we're watching this. I'm gonna tell you guys more about that as we go. It just doesn't matter once you get there to the hospital what you're carrying around for a bag. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
It's just like a fleecy material. I don't remember where I got
Okay,
this.
so the blanket.
I'm assuming we got it for like Christmas or something last year. I wanted to just bring a blanket from home for post-birth. I won't use this before because I don't want to get anything like gross on it.
So this blanket, I cannot honestly remember if I ended up using this blanket. I think I did after I took my bath on the evening after I had Teddy. I took a nice Epsom salt bath, and let me tell you, like, it was like the best bath I've ever had in my life. And I was so comfy afterward, and I think I like put the blanket in the bed with me, but I can't 100% remember. Either way, I definitely still think it's a good idea to bring a blanket. Although, actually, our hospital room was so hot, and we had to ask them to turn the heat down. But either way, definitely a good idea to bring one. I don't think that this was, like, I wouldn't say, oh, don't bring a blanket. I didn't use it or whatever. I honestly can't remember. I think it was on and off that I used it. It's just nice to have something comfortable like that from home because the hospital bedding is, you know, it's not the greatest.
So I bought these on Amazon. They came in a pack of 3, so blue,
Okay, so
white,
the socks.
and light gray. And again, just a 3-pack. They have little grippies on the bottom, and you might be wondering, like, why would you buy these? The hospital provides them. I wanted ones that had a higher ankle, and I know that a lot of times the ones in the hospital are the like really low ankle ones and they slip off. I wanted ones that are a little higher. These were very affordable. I figure I'll wear them after the fact as well.
Okay, so I was literally wearing a pair of these socks yesterday. I wear them all the time. These are amazing. I have zero regrets buying these. I think I brought 2 pairs with me. I wore a pair into the hospital, so I was wearing them while I was in labor. And I actually remember my nurse being like, I love those socks. I ended up having them taken off of me, and I say that because they literally took them off of me when they broke my water. And I remember the doctor being like, we don't want to get your socks all wet. And then I didn't wear them the rest of my labor because I was in bed and wasn't walking around. But postpartum in the hospital, I was wearing them the whole time. So I really recommend getting your own. I loved how comfy they were. I loved, again, like I was saying in the video, like how high up on my ankle they were. I did get hospital ones that were in like a package and I never put them on. They are like one size and they were gonna be huge on me anyway, so I was very, very glad I packed these. And like I just said, I wear them very frequently. They're just in my regular rotation of winter socks. So all of this, I should mention, is linked on this postpartum video. All of the items that I talk about are in there. So if you're interested in them, I highly recommend going over and just like going into my Amazon links and checking them out. No affiliation at all, by the way, not sponsored or anything like that. I just really liked those socks, and I like a lot of the items in this video, so.
And then they changed the shipping to the
Okay,
end
so
of
now we're
December,
talking about the
which
nightgown
is
that I
just,
brought.
Unfortunately, too late. And my son will most likely be here before then. So I had to cancel that order. And I went to Walmart and I got this for $8. And I love it. It's just like a slouchy little nightie. It's probably gonna be pretty long on me. It has a V-neck. There's no buttons, unfortunately. I wanted buttons for breastfeeding purposes, but there is a pretty good V-neck on it. So the material being like really stretchy and having the V-neck, I think will be fine.
So this is my little penguin nightie that I still to this day wear to bed. It is quite big on me. It really like is super slouchy. It like hangs off my shoulders at times. But let me tell you, I don't think I wore this in the hospital. I wore a hospital gown the entire time. But when we got home, I wore this nightgown constantly. And what was really cute was my son had a swaddle that he would wear to bed that also had penguins on it. And so every time he was wearing his penguins, I would wear my penguins and we would match. And it was just the cutest thing. And I still, like I said, I wear this year round. Our house is pretty hot in the winter because we have a wood stove and it's usually pretty warm in here. So I can wear it even in the winter. And obviously it's a good summer nightie even though it's penguins. But I love it. And it was so cheap. Like I say in the video, it was $8 at Walmart. And I ended up wearing it throughout all of my postpartum and into now. I definitely think I would have worn it in the hospital if the circumstances had been a little bit different. Just to get into it a little bit, I had kind of a complicated birth. My son had shoulder dystocia. He ended up actually being cared for by the nurses for the first like 12 hours of his life. And he was not with us in our room until it was like 12 hours after he was born. So I also had a really rough recovery in the hospital. I was having a really hard time walking and I just was having a lot of problems. So I ended up staying in my hospital gown for most of it. My mobility was really bad, so I didn't want to get up and change or anything. Like I said earlier, I took a bath eventually, but it really took me a long time to be able to have that mobility. And so I didn't feel like changing my clothes. I changed my hospital gown, but the hospital gown at the time, it unsnapped in the front, like for breastfeeding and stuff. It was just so easy that I just stayed in that and didn't actually touch the nightgown. So it was great after the fact. But if you are in a different circumstance in the hospital where your mobility is fine and your recovery is going better than it was for me, I think that I definitely would have worn this if it had been a different situation.
I am also bringing a nursing bra. So this one is from Amazon. I got it in a pack of 5. I wear these literally every single day of my life. I will probably be wearing one when I get to the hospital, so I'll already have one on, and then I'll have this one in the bag. They are just the crisscross front ones. They are not meant for support, so just as a heads up, I have a smaller chest. So for me, these work great, but just as a warning, they don't have a ton of support in them.
These bras I still wear to this day. I have, like I said, 5 of them. I wear them as sports bras, like they're just comfortable. I wore them all postpartum. I obviously wore them at the hospital, although not after birth, because like I said, I wasn't just a gown. But before, wore it to the hospital. They're great. They're starting to kind of wear out in the seams. There's some elastic breakage in places on some of them, so they definitely wear out, but they are very, very inexpensive. So honestly, like down the road I may buy like another pack of them. Like I know they're for nursing and I am done with nursing and pumping, but they're so comfortable. I just really like them. So I definitely recommend these bras. Like I say, not great for support. Obviously when I was nursing and pumping, my chest was bigger than it is normally and they held up fine, but yeah, support wise, the support's not there. So just keep that in mind, but I do really like the nursing bras and I'm glad I brought them with me.
These dollar Old Navy flip-flops that I never wear that are
shower shoes.
They're pretty close to brand new, and I just figured I'd throw them in the bag.
I didn't wear those. Moving on.
But I bought myself a lounge set, my first ever lounge set in my life. These are so insanely popular. I feel like everybody wears them, and I don't even own one, or now I do, but at the time, like, I didn't even own one. I wanted something comfy to wear home from the hospital, and then something to continue to wear at home once we had baby home. So this is the top. There are 3 buttons here, they're just hiding underneath. But it's just like a standard long sleeve, tags in the way, with 3 buttons, so good for breastfeeding to like pull it down. This is the size small. It's made of like a really soft cottony material, and then it has the matching pants, which are drawstring waist, and then it has the cinched jogger style bottoms.
Okay, this set is like my favorite thing that I own for comfy clothes. I want another one, honestly, and maybe after the holidays I'll look into getting another one. It is so ridiculously comfortable. I did wear this home from the hospital. It was the perfect material, the perfect, like the elastic waist and stuff wasn't too tight on me for like postpartum. You know, obviously I have pain and I'm uncomfortable and stuff, but the pants were perfect. It comes in like 4 colors, and I definitely think I want to get, I think there was a set, it was just black. I have the green like you saw. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Might need an extension cord or even for the phone charger. That's one that we're kind of up in the air about. I'm gonna ask Brandon what he thinks.
We did bring an extra long charger, and we needed it from what I remember, because Brandon's nodding in the background. There was no outlets really that close to my bed. We were there. I was in labor for 26 hours. So depending on how fast your labor is and your stay, like your recovery, you could be there a while. You need a phone charger, obviously. But the extra long ones are great. We had a 10-foot cord. So Brandon had the chair in the corner was like his area, and there were outlets over there, and I'm pretty sure that's where we plugged my phone in as well. And yeah, I was obviously using my phone throughout labor. I had an epidural, so I was just kind of relaxing for a lot of it and needed to keep my phone charged. Obviously, it's a good rule of thumb, if you know you're going to go into labor at any point, keep your phone charged in general, just in case. But yeah, extra long charger came in handy.
Just for that, don't know if I'll end up using it, but I think it's good to have on hand, and it's
Okay, I'm talking about a heating pad here.
fairly compact in the bag, so that's good.
I didn't use it. I don't think it's a bad idea to bring one though. I just didn't use it. Like I said, didn't have good mobility, and so to like have to get up to set that up, or like have somebody help me set it up, and then the cord, like no, I just didn't use it.
I'm also bringing some Advil, which I have not been able to take my entire pregnancy because
I did not use my own Advil. I ended up going with the hospital's Advil and Tylenol. I know that a lot of people bring their own stuff because they charge you quite a bit for medication in the hospital. At the time, I did not care. They brought in the medication right after I had Teddy, and they were like, here you go. And I was like, cool. And from there on out, it was like a scheduled thing. They came in and they actually had to scan my hospital band every single time I had medication. So that is how they keep track of like where you're at with your medication. And if you have your own stuff and you take it, you have to tell them, like you have to notify them like what you're doing. And honestly, when we were in the hospital, the nurses were incredibly busy. It was kind of understaffed because there was like an absolute boom of births that came in at the same time, and they had just a lot going on. And so there were points where like my medication, like they would come in and give it to me, but like sometimes I had to like remind them because they were that busy and that understaffed. So I didn't really dare like mess with that medication schedule because I didn't want it to get confusing, and I just went with what they were giving me.
So this is basically to spray yourself off. It's
The Peri bottle. So I brought mine with me to the hospital. I did not use it in the hospital. I ended up using the one that they give you, which doesn't have the little like neck piece on it. The one in the hospital was fine, but I will say when we got home and I started using my own, it was so much better. I really, really like the one that has the bent nozzle on it.
And then the second postpartum item that I'm bringing is actually stool softeners. So I ordered Dolcolex stool softeners, and they moved the shipping again to like the end of December.
Okay, so I ended up not taking my own in the hospital. They, I believe, gave me stool softeners with the other medication. So again, you can bring your own, but you're gonna have to let them know like what you're taking and when you're taking it so they can keep track of your medication. And I just went with what they gave me. Okay, so now we're gonna go into what we packed for Teddy.
With my doctor at my 34-week appointment, she gave me a little bit of a rundown of things that I could pack for baby, and there were really only 2 things that I was required to bring to the hospital, which was the car seat and a going home outfit.
Okay, so this is pretty accurate as far as what we ended up using for him, other than the stuff for his little newborn photo. So we did bring his nameplate, and we did bring an outfit, a swaddle for that photo, which I'm gonna talk about in a second. But my doctor's advice was not wrong as far as needing just a going home outfit and a car seat. First thing I'm talking about here is the diaper bag.
But this is the diaper bag that we got. which I need to take the tag off of. But this one is from Amazon. I registered for it. My aunt bought it for me.
So I'm just talking about the diaper bag here. If you guys want to hear an in-depth review of the diaper bag, go check out my items that we use frequently as parents video, which should be right before this one. I talk a little bit more about it in there. I'm going to skip it here. The diaper bag for us was just a way to transport his stuff over. We didn't actually like use diapers or anything out of it. You don't necessarily need it to be a diaper bag for your baby's bag. We just happened to bring this one for him.
This was actually Brandon's baby blanket. And I believe it has a couple of little tears in it here and there, but we're actually bringing it to put underneath him in his bassinet for his photo. So this will be like the backdrop kind of thing.
We did use it for that, so that was worth bringing. We ended up wrapping it like around the bassinet's little mattress thing to make the background blue.
Love the stripes. I just think it's just so adorable. And he weirdly doesn't have that many blue clothes, like being a boy. Like you'd think that a lot.
So I brought him this Swaddle, which was one of the Velcro ones. I don't remember the brand of this one, but it was blue and white stripes. And this was the one that we used for his photo. And it ended up being so big on him. It was 0 to 3 months size. And he was 6 pounds, 13 ounces. So he was little, but he was floating in that swaddle. So I kind of regret bringing that. I feel like just a normal like blanket would have worked better for the size he was in. But funnily enough, this is from the very beginning of him being born. He hated having his arms in at all. And so I think if we had tried to swaddle him in a blanket, like the nurses kept doing that at the hospital, swaddling him in one of the baby blankets, and he would just break out of it. So maybe the Velcro swaddle was a good idea, but it was just too big. So the 0 to 3 month was just too big. So if you're unsure, I would bring like a newborn or a preemie size as well with you. Just, you know, if you're looking to put them in one for a photo, you just don't know.
And then on top of that, we have 2 hat options. So I've got a gray option, has a little knot on the end, and then I also have blue as well. It's kind of a slate blue though.
Okay, so we did bring the 2 hats, and then he had the hospital hat with the stripes on it that all the babies get. We used the blue hat, I believe, but they were both massive on him. They just did not fit him, which is weird because he does have a above average size head now, but when he was born it was proportionate, and like the hat didn't fit him. I remember in the photo you could see it sticking out a little bit on the side there because it was way too big on him. Maybe an elastic hat, like a one like the hospital, or just use the hospital hat, because yeah, these ones that come with the little like newborn outfits, we did not find that they fit very good at all. I guess it depends on your baby.
I also have his name announcement, which I'm obviously not going to show, but it is a embroidery hoop, and I embroidered his name, and there's little lines, I'll show you, around the edge there, so his name is on there.
We use that, of course, for the photo. If you guys follow me on Instagram, his newborn picture was right on there with his name. I loved his name sign that I made him. It was very unique, I felt, compared to like the wooden ones that everyone uses, which I really like, but I wanted to do something a little different, and I had actually done a whole series with my bump with embroidery hoops, and like the month that we were in with the pregnancy, and then there was like the corresponding amount of flowers on the hoop, and so that was kind of my theme throughout, and so I thought it would be cute to have his name be on an embroidery hoop. So of course we did use that.
Which is just a little fleece footy. Oh, this one's actually snaps. I thought it was zippers, but it is just a newborn size. Really, really soft. I wanted something with feet because it is winter, so I want something fairly warm for him to go home in. And then we're bringing a secondary option as well, which is this long-sleeved onesie, and then the little matching pants with the feet on them, which I think are dinosaurs.
So we actually did pick that second outfit for his going home, the blue one, because the other one was bigger. It was still newborn, but it ran bigger, and it floated on him. I remember we started putting him in it, and we were like, never mind, let's do the other one, because the blue one was smaller. That one was still big on him, but it fit a little bit better. and they both had snaps, which was very daring of me to bring 2 outfits to the hospital that had just all snaps, because that's a lot more complicated. The first outfit we ever put our child in is snaps. Another thing to note is that we did not put him in regular clothes until we were going home. So he was swaddled up in a blanket the whole time we were at the hospital, and the reason being is that his oxygen was not regulating when he was born, and so he was with the nurses a lot, and he was having his oxygen monitored. So he had he had an IV, and then he had the tubes and stuff that it was all monitoring that oxygen. There was like something on his hand, and he had like a thing over his hand. So him wearing clothes didn't make sense at all. It would have been way too difficult to have him in like a little outfit with all this stuff anyway. So we didn't touch these clothes until we were going home. And I've seen other people bring outfits for their babies and have their newborns in clothes at the hospital. But yeah, for us, that just didn't make sense to do.
And then we are also just bringing a couple of pacifiers, or Binkies is what we call them.
Binkies. Oh, Binkies. So he had the hospital one he didn't like at all. And then he didn't like these either. And he's never been a Binky kid. Ever. He has had 1 or 2 Binkies that he's taken to, and then by like 7 months old, he was done with the Binkies. He wanted nothing to do with them. So we did not use those Binkies at all. Again, they gave him the hospital ones, and he wanted nothing to do with them. So of course you can bring them, but our kid didn't use his.
Now we are moving into my postpartum essentials. So we are going to be talking about postpartum healing, and I'm not going to sugarcoat what items are for. So if this is the type of...
I won't do that here either. Okay, let's just get into it.
So I have this crate. If you watched my baby shower video, you probably recognize it. It was my card box. This just sits on the back of the toilet, and I'm just going to stock all my stuff that I need in here so that when I go in the bathroom, it's like right there for me.
That is a good idea, to have a station that you make of your stuff. It's just much easier to have it all right there and not have to like go into the vanity and like get everything out or whatever every time you're in the bathroom. A little cart or station is perfect. We have 1 bathroom in our house, but I had absolutely zero shame in putting all of my postpartum stuff out on display for everyone to see, because yeah, you had a baby, it doesn't matter. So that was very useful, that little crate. And it's actually still in the back of the toilet now, and it just has like magazines and stuff in it. So it stayed around.
I have zero expectations that this is going to stay nice and neat and tidy, so don't think that.
It actually did stay pretty nice and neat and tidy, ironically. Like, I was restocking it a lot, and I was just straightening it a lot, and it wasn't that hard to keep it nice and tidy.
Okay, so the first thing that I decided to purchase were diapers.
Just yes. I got 2 types of adult diapers. I got the Amazon Essentials ones, and then I got the Silhouettes, which I for some reason can't remember what the brand of those is. Anyway, both were good. The Amazon ones were cheaper, and I will say I thought that they were a little bit more comfortable. The Silhouettes were a very, very high waist, so it was weird. They were almost like a control top, and both were fine. I definitely would recommend getting them, just because it just, like, there was more peace of mind with leaks and stuff. Like, I just felt more secure than using the, like, hospital pads. I did use the hospital pads. They did give me all of that stuff, but the diapers were just a little bit more convenient, and they also were more easily hidden under clothing. So if I was going out and about, like to the store or whatever, one of those made way more sense than a pad. So I personally really liked them. I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, no, I'm not gonna get diapers like postpartum. It's literally just so much easier, in my opinion, than a pad. I just really, really like them. I give it 5 stars. If I ever do have another child, I will go the exact same route again.
I bought a 16 pack. They are on the more expensive side, so I only bought the 1 pack.
Okay. So they are Depends. They're the Depends Silhouettes. So those were good too. They were more expensive, like I said, and I found to be a little bit itchy. Like the top of them, the material was, for my skin wasn't as good. So yeah, I don't know. I would just go with the Amazon ones personally, but both were good. Both worked well.
So this was a 3-pack of 28 a piece. So there's, is that 84 pads and 2 more packs downstairs. And I got the size 3.
I did use these, obviously, later on. I don't recall wearing them to bed. I used them more for daytime, and used the adult diapers at night just because moving around and stuff in bed, it just made more sense to have more of like a full coverage thing on. But the pads were fine. They weren't like super heavy duty. I had ones from the hospital, like I said, that were more heavy duty. I was a little more secure in those, but these were fine. Did I need 84 of them? Absolutely not. Now that could vary from person to person depending on what you're using alongside them. So if you're just using the pads, you might need 84 of them. Maybe.
There's 100 in this box. They were very affordable. And I also have regular witch hazel as well in my bathroom, so...
Okay, the Tux pads. I never actually ended up using my own because they gave me a full jar of them at the hospital. They opened a new one while I was there, and then once I left, they just gave me the whole thing. I never had to crack into my ones that I bought. So, or maybe a little bit, but not much. I used these for like a couple days. No, that's more than that. Probably like the first week. I didn't think they were anything crazy. I think that they worked fine. They were nice and soothing, but they were only soothing for like a short time for me. And I didn't find that I really needed them after the first maybe 4 to 5 days. And then I was kind of just using them to use them. And then I was like, okay, these are kind of annoying because they do like shift around a lot, but I didn't have to use my own. So keep that in mind that the hospital does have them.
I also bought a can of Dermaplast. The hospital is going to give me this, but I wanted to have a spare can on hand.
The Dermaplast is nice. Again, it was something that I only used for probably the first week home, and then I didn't feel I really needed it again. They did send me home with some. I did use some of my own as well, so I would get your own because you do go through it kind of quickly.
Seamless underwear. So they are just the Amazon Essentials brand. Black, stretchy, seamless underwear. I bought these specifically for when I transitioned out of the diapers. I wanted underwear that I didn't care about. These were cheap.
These are good. I still wear them to this day because none of them got like destroyed or anything postpartum, luckily, and they're black, so even if they had, I don't think you'd be able to tell. A few of them have some splitting on the seams where they're like literally glued together. They're not sewn because they're seamless. Have no complaints. I definitely think the seamless was a good way to go. They're not like overly tight. They don't have like a tight waistband and stuff. So for comfort level postpartum, they're a pretty good purchase. And they were pretty cheap from what I remember.
They do sell disposable postpartum ice packs that you like literally crack and like put into your underwear. They're like a pad. Freedom Mom, I think, sells them. You are more than welcome to get those, but I wanted to get something that was reusable, so I wasn't having to worry about running out. These came in a 2-pack. They're just the like gel ones. I think you can heat these up too, if I remember right. I could be wrong.
I think I was wrong on that. I don't think you can heat them up. So the ice packs I'm talking about before these are the ones, like I'm saying, you crack them and they're like a regular ice pack. I absolutely hated them. I used them at the hospital. The hospital gave us some. I absolutely hated them. They were so uncomfortable. So I was right in that regard where getting the other kind was like more for me, and I'm glad I didn't purchase really expensive ones from like Freedom Mom or whatever, because I would not have used them. I would not have used them. However, ironically, the ones that I'm holding in this video, the reusable ones, I did not use for postpartum. They stayed in the freezer. I never used them. I didn't feel like I needed them. But what we do use them for is actually the bottles. So when we travel and we bring like a little mini cooler with bottles in it, we actually use these and we wrap them around the bottles, and they work great for that. So we still use these ice packs very frequently, and I recommend them. They're great. I just didn't use them for postpartum.
I may end up not breastfeeding, but I did purchase a bunch of stuff in the intention that I will be breastfeeding. So the first thing I got was this pack of 100 syringes.
Okay, so watching this bag, it's so funny to me because I'm like laughing about the 100 syringes in that box, but we have actually used those syringes far more than I ever anticipated. So I initially got them for colostrum collection, and I did end up collecting quite a bit of it, and we brought it to the hospital. It was great because Teddy was with the nurses for a long time and they did use all of it up, which was awesome. They were so happy that I had brought that in. But then afterward, you're thinking, like, what are you going to use it for? Use those syringes for? And fun fact, did you know that infant Tylenol and children's Tylenol are the same thing? Just wildly different prices. It is very true. If you look at the back of the bottles, they are identical to each other. The difference is that the infant comes with a syringe and the children's comes with a little cup. And so the price difference is wild. The infant's is way, way more expensive for less than the children's. And so what we did was we actually bought the children's Tylenol and we used these syringes to get the exact amount that Teddy needs and administering it that way instead of out of the little cup. And they're all, like, every single one of them is sterile in a little package. So that has worked out beautifully. So yeah, if you're gonna order syringes online, get a bunch of them. You'll find a need for them, I'm sure.
Again, I think there's 10 sets in here. There might even be 20. Like, there's a lot in here. And these were highly, highly recommended on Amazon.
So breastfeeding pads is what I'm talking about there, and I used them every single day of my life for the first probably 3 months of breastfeeding and pumping, until my milk like really regulated. I needed them because I was like leaking a lot, and especially like in the mornings when waking up, if I wasn't doing a night pump, because a lot of times, or I was at first, but then when I stopped doing them, I would like leak a little bit in the night. They were so helpful. I always had the pads in my bra like all day, every day. And they were so easily washed. You just throw them in the little wash bag. It was great. So this was a wonderful product and I highly recommend.
I also have the Earth Mama nipple butter. My friend who just had a baby this past spring said this stuff is amazing. I have seen it countless times on the internet.
Yes. Just yes. I still have this. I use it for my lips because it is just a beeswax balm. It's incredible. I used it for months, just used it all winter. I mean, like, I've literally used it on my skin, I've used it on my lips. I used it for breastfeeding as it was intended. Excellent, excellent product.
This is the Freedom Mom breastfeeding kit. It's not really breastfeeding kit, it's like breast care kit. So the first thing you get in here is actually the breast mask for hydration. So one of them actually is for lactation and one is for hydration. So this one is for, like, if your supply is low, it's supposed to help stimulate that, and then this one's a hydration one.
I didn't use either of those.
This was the main reason I wanted it, which was this lactation massager. Ooh. This thing retails for, I think, $25 on its own.
I do like this product. I did use it at one point when I was kind of struggling to keep my supply up. I found that it really helped with that, and it has a warming mechanism in it, so you can do warming. There's a couple different vibration settings. It's very nice. I do like it. It does charge, and the charge for me didn't last very long. I didn't think that was that great. I'd be using it, like, say in the middle of the night for a pump, and it would die mid pump. I would be kind of upset. But otherwise it does its job and it's great. So with it coming in this breast care kit, I don't know for sure if I would say I would buy the kit again, just because I really only got use out of this one product. I think there's one other thing that I'm going to talk about in this video in a minute. We'll see.
And then at the very bottom it had a set of the heat soothing packs.
Okay, so when I got this, I thought these heat packs were kind of like an ice pack where you like crack them and they get hot. No, that's not the case. You actually have to boil them to warm them up. I did not read the instructions until much later on, and again, it was at a point where I was looking for any way to up my supply, and I was trying to get rid of a clog, I think, and I thought, oh, I have these things, and it was like kind of a process, like on the instruction manual of how to warm them up and everything, and I just decided not to use them. I mean, maybe you are willing to follow the instructions for these heat packs, and that's cool. I just, at the time, was not. I didn't have the time to sit and boil water and like put them in there and like try to figure it out. There was like more to it than that, I think. I didn't have a desire to do it.
I'm going to take full advantage of the hospital in the postpartum and the baby department, and it is all included in our nursery fee that we get billed for, so I figure there is absolutely no point in bringing our own stuff and using our own stuff there when they have it all for us.
That is super true. So we came home with diapers, we came home with a small pack of wipes, we came home with a swaddle. They actually gave us a halo swaddle at the hospital, which was really nice. You got a book. There was some postpartum stuff that I came home with, the diaper, the hospital diapers, like the mesh ones, and then also the pads, the tucks, the Epsom salt I believe we brought home. There was a lot of things that we were able to take advantage of. So I definitely recommend doing that if you have never had a baby before and you're going to be giving birth. When you're in the hospital, like everything that's in your room is for you. And the nurses literally encourage you to bring it home at the end. They're like, everything gets thrown out if it doesn't get taken. So like, please take the stuff. So we did. And it was very helpful. Like I did not have to touch a lot of my stuff for the first like week. So that's it. That's the end of the video. I think I just ramble for a few more minutes here about the impending birth at the time. I actually was surprised watching this because I was pretty convinced I was going to watch this and be like, I didn't use that, I didn't use that, I didn't use that. But I actually did use a lot of this. It was just more so once I got home that we really used our stuff. The time in the hospital for me was kind of a whirlwind. I don't remember a lot of it, and looking back, like I did have a traumatic birth, and like it was not a conventional situation. It wasn't what I envisioned for my birth at all. I had a really textbook pregnancy. Like it was pretty good. I had very minimal bad symptoms. I didn't throw up. I really like, my fatigue was like on and off, but it was like manageable. My cravings weren't super wild. Like there was nothing really that crazy. I did have weird eczema like halfway through, but that went away. That sounded kind of bad. Eczema's not weird. I had weird like a hormonal like reaction where I had eczema all over my body. That's what I'm trying to say. But other than that, like I had a textbook pregnancy. So I went into my delivery without a birth plan. I was very open-minded, but I also in my mind thought this is going to be just as textbook as the pregnancy, and it really wasn't. So it is good to go in with an open mind. It's good to not overpack, I think, or it was for me, because I felt like nothing really got wasted necessarily, and you just really don't know how it's gonna go. And you're gonna have the opportunity, like if you needed to get more stuff to bring back to the hospital, you could always do that. So starting with like the bare bone basics really works, and they really do have everything there for you. They are ready for you when you get there and you're in labor. And they're like, we've got all the stuff. So that's that. Wow. I am hoping to put up a year in review video for parenting at some point. Probably in the new year is when I'm going to film that one. Once Teddy turns 1, I really want to like take a minute and reflect. There's a 6-month one on my channel where I talk about like the first 6 months, and things are obviously way different. I mean, we have a toddler. He's walking at this point, so things are different now. We have a whole new arsenal of experiences that I want to talk about. We also, like I said, are planning his first birthday, and I'm hoping to make that into a video if we have enough like content. We are making a bunch of his decorations and stuff, so I can show that, and the party setup and everything. Should be really fun. I'm really excited. It's like 2 weeks away. Should probably get on that stuff. So it's amazing how the planner in me like wants to be a planner, but also has an 11-and-a-half-month-old who demands my attention and needs me all hours of the day. So it makes planning a little bit more difficult nowadays, but we are getting there and we're handling it. thank you all again so much for being here, so much for watching. We're coming up on another end of the year, and it's just, looking back, I know there hasn't been that much content this year, but for me, in my personal life, it's been a real whirlwind and a huge change, and I know as our child gets older and progresses, things will get a little bit easier with keeping up with this channel, hopefully. And we have just so much fun stuff to look forward to in the future, and I'm hoping to share some of it here on the channel. And thank you guys for the endless support and subscribing. Make sure you do subscribe if you're interested in anything homemaking, planning, some mild parenting stuff, some organization maybe at times, maybe, if you like any of that type of stuff. Make sure you subscribe here and give this video a thumbs up if it helped you at all. Hopefully those of you who are watching who maybe are still maybe in your pregnancy journey, hopefully this was helpful to you. Make sure you go back and watch the full packing my hospital bag video if you're interested. It's up on my channel. Obviously I will link it down below also on this video. Thank you all again, and I will see you all in the next one.